This is Providence Television International, the game changer. Stand by for the next program.
And the next program is the interview session on the Morning Drive Providence Television International. My name is Ugbebo Ikikwa, and with me in the studio is the Chairman, Chief Executive Officer, Providence Television International, Dr. Emmanuel Egariva.
Yes, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure of mine to be here. So I want to thank all our viewers for joining us.
Well, we'll be discussing quite a topic that, yes, I know for some individuals out there, when they actually hear the topic that we'll be discussing, they'll be like, what concerns us on this issue? Is this what we are discussing? But then, Dr. Emmanuel Egariva is going to throw so much light that at the end of the day, he would agree with us here that it concerns you in a whole lot of ways. We are looking at protection of the environment.
Well, first of all, what constitutes our environment? We must answer that in three dimensions. The air, the land, and then the water bodies. This constitutes our environment. And why do we need to even protect the environment? The answer is obvious. The environment is the only thing we have that can carry us for all eternity. Okay? And if we don't, then we have no reason to forbear. For example, it's the only thing we have we can hang on to. Because you see, as I've said elsewhere on this station, the environment can go on without us, but we cannot live without the environment. How can we live when we have to depend on the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the land on which we live? And it is such a shame that in this country not too much attention is paid to environmental protection, even though we have laws that tend to enable us to protect the environment, as it were. But the laws are weak. There are laws against illegal logging, for example.
Okay.
There are laws against gas flaring. There are laws against bush burning, for example. But they are not enforced. In other words, people just do things the way they want, and they almost go scot-free, which cannot happen in advanced countries. Because, you see, the environment is there for all of us, and we must keep it safe. In fact, that's why I think if you watch, when countries in Europe, and Western countries, as it were, when somebody wants to vie for an office, maybe a prime minister or a president, he talks about climate change. He talks about control of the environment. Those are things that bother them, not the things that bother us in this part of the world, things like water, like shelter, and all sorts of things. They have gone beyond that. They now talk about how to protect the environment. And the environment is important. I mean, we're just talking about floods. Now, people are being asked to move to the upland. That they are part of the environment. If we control these floods, we're adding value to what the environment should look like, right? We are cutting down economic trees at will. Economic trees that can heighten our revenue base. And I will ask you, where do we find mahogany now? Where do we find species like Iroko? Where do we find beautiful species like I'm trying to remember, this one they use for furniture on a regular basis. Masonia.
Masonia.
Where do we find it? These are beautiful species. They have been cut down, and sometimes almost irretrievably. And Iroko, for instance, it takes an Iroko almost 100 years to get to that height. We cut it down, and then we begin to look elsewhere. Some of these species that I've talked about, 60, 70, 80 years to get to the desired height. So, but there's no control. And I think that's where our ministries of agriculture and natural resources should be up and doing.
Okay.
Our environmental protection agencies should be up and doing. Okay. We have laws that have to do with the environment. And I've mentioned some of them. I mean, for instance, in the Niger Delta area, we have gas flaring, which the oil companies carry out at will. And in any case, these are activities they cannot carry out in their own country, but they do it here. And there are laws against gas flaring. Okay? But these laws are just there on the paper. There's no compliance, as it were. Even wrongful disposal of waste. You see people, even in Benin here, maybe we'll do a feature on it. People direct water, waste water, into the gutter outside. They have no tanks to suck away all of these substances. And so they direct this water into the main gutter outside. And it's not done. In those days when we were growing up, we used to have people they call sanitary health inspectors.
Yes.
Now they are gone. We don't have them anymore. And these things create ripple effects in communicable diseases. The other day, I don't know if we have gone over it now, we're talking about cholera.
Cholera, yes.
Cholera it creates fatalities here and there. But what are the causes of cholera? It's a waterborne disease, by the way.
Exactly.
And that's if you have bad water, children particularly, they are more vulnerable. And they begin to stool and all sorts of things. And it's communicable, right? So, but we need to look at our environment more closely. And I think we can also talk about effluents into water bodies. This also happens in the Delta area, where you pour all kinds of things into the sea. All right. But we forget in the process that these effluents are in a state of flux. They keep moving. And as they are moving, they are destroying aquatic life. Yes. Fish and also sea animals. They destroy them as they go along. And that is because there's no control. We pour all kinds of things, particularly these foreign companies. They pour all kinds of things into the water bodies. You remember one time, even the plastic containers and all sort of things, we'll gather all them together and pour out into the sea.
Exactly.
Yes, and it's terrible. Now, we're approaching November. November, of course, hopefully we'll have a Harmattan. This is the time when people burn bushes.
Bushes, exactly.
Yes. First of all, you destroy the ozone layer. Yes. And secondly, you destroy the plant kingdom almost irretrievably. If you burn. And there are laws against bush burning. But where are the culprits? Where are the people who are supposed to even protect the laws?
Exactly. That's the question that I wanted to come to. And so is it an oversight on the part of government?
It is an oversight because there are bodies responsible for this. I just mentioned the Ministry of Agriculture and Natural Resources. Under their watch, we are still talking about illegal fellers of trees. Yes. What we refer to as logging. Yes, we still have them all over the place. Now tell me, where are the forest reserves? They are gone. In those days, we used to have nursery along Sapamba Road here. When you transfer plants into another state and you watch them grow. These plants take a long time to grow, a long time. The oak, I'll tell you, it's found in Lebanon and the Middle East. It takes almost 120 years. The tall oak, just one tree. Yes, almost 120 years, which is even longer than the lifespan of an average person. Yeah. But we destroy them. Where are the parks? We don't have parks in Benin where people should go and relax, plant with flowers and all sorts of things. Even in our homes, we don't plant trees. And trees can serve as windbreakers.
Exactly.
Yes, particularly during the rainy season. They resist coming winds and they protect the environment very, very well. But no attention is paid to them. And that is why I think that even the National Orientation Agency, they have a lot on their plate. For instance, this is even one of them. To enlighten people as to how they can protect the environment. I just talked about tree felling, bush burning and all that. Wrongful waste disposal is also another one. I talked about it, but I have to repeat it. We have people who go on these carts.
Yes.
They collect waste and that sort of thing. They go and dump them somewhere, And government is aware of all of this. These are abuses against the environment because they create seepage into the ground. And so it goes into the water level. which becomes poisonous, by the way. Government should regulate activities of people who do all of these things. But the issue is, you must create room for proper disposal of refuse and waste. If you don't, the people will do it themselves.
Okay.
If you don't create avenue to dispose of waste, how do you expect to control people who want to carry out these activities on their own? It becomes very difficult. Okay. So we must do all of these things well. We must say, well, we're just talking about the surface. There are many things that go along with environmental protection. Yes.
Would you throw some little light? I know to shock some people there that there are even health benefits to protecting the environment.
Of course, first of all, if you plant some species of plants around the place, apart from being ornamental plants, for instance, yes, you can receive fresh air. Yes. And not just that, most of the plants we have are medicinal in nature. Yes, highly medicinal. And some of them are so good. There's a branch of chemistry called, I'll get the name right now.
Okay.
Pharmacognosis. It's a branch of pharmacy, actually.
Okay.
And this is the study of plants to know their efficacy.
Okay.
All right? And these plants, I think about 80 of them or thereabout, they have efficacy. That's why our parents in the olden times could use these plants to treat all kinds of ailments. Most of the drugs, so by the way, most of the drugs we have are from plants. The few that are outside are synthetic drugs. But those are not the things we need. We need drugs that are natural in nature. Okay? And most times they don't have side effects. Those are the things that our researchers should be looking into. If you go to Ondo State, for instance, they still have some forests in Ondo State, a nearby state here, where plants are kept for generations yet to come. Plants that are useful for our survival, as far as health is concerned. So there are many uses. Talk about economic trees, rubber, cocoa, cotton, groundnut. And let me also tell you this. Most of the things you will find around homes are derived from plants. You see your table, your chairs, yes, mattresses from cotton. Most of the things you use, okay? Most of the things we eat. In fact, all food items are derived from plants, whether it is beans or rice or gari, that's from cassava, majorly from plants. So you can see the usefulness. That is why, for instance, plants need to be protected. Yes, plants really need to be protected because they are the base. Plants are the base of our food web. Once you remove them, we are finished.
Okay.
Yeah, so we must protect our plants.
All right. Would you be of this view that urbanization has also led to a total disregard for the protection of the environment?
The two must go side by side.
Okay.
Urbanization must go with the protection of the environment and with nature. You must not destroy one for the other.
Okay.
That is why Western countries now, they are going back to their roots. They build cities which we call cement jungles, whereas they are making room for the destruction of the natural habitats of plants. Even the animal species, they are all gone. But India has taken the lead. India has created a safe haven for all those exotic animals like the tigers and the rest. They still keep them in their natural habitats because very soon they will be extinct. And that's what we must fight against. Some plants are already extinct. If I said the other day, and it surprised a lot of people, I had a lot of phone calls, and I explained to them that some plants are extinct even before they are discovered. Yes. That would sound like a paradox, but it's true. Right. And plants, as I said, they are the base of the food web. We depend on plants. Animals also depend on plants.
Yeah.
A lot of them. Cattle, for instance, sheep, depend on plants for their survival.
Yes.
So when we destroy the plant base, we are hurting ourselves.
Exactly.
And they must be protected by law. They must be protected. Yes.
Okay, you talked about such places like parks. If I remember in this station, we did a story on one of the parks, recreation centers. that has kind of like the services
Well,
are moribund now?
yes, parks are part of the environment. Again, looking at the human angle, they are part of the environment. We mentioned Ramat Park
Ramat Park, exactly.
the other day. We took some visuals of it. The place is going crazy. That is supposed to be a place where people can relax. In fact, we even need it more in these difficult times, because people should go there, families should go there. Let us even for a moment remove their minds from exchange rates, price hike in petrol and that sort of thing. Let them go to their families and just relax, and look at nature. Parks are meant to reflect nature. Yes, you have trees, ornamental trees, and all others, and then you receive fresh breeze. In Lagos in those days, we used to have Ikoyi Park. It's all gone. It's all gone now, Ikoyi Park, where you have rivers. You will see fish in their natural habitat just flowing across. Those things are gone. They have made room for human habitat, which should not be. They should coexist. While you are developing the human angle, you should also protect the natural environment of plants and animals. It should go side by side. As I said, India has done very well. Malaysia, they're doing a very great job as far as this is concerned. So you have natural habitat for animals. Because what is left for our children, for instance? Our children, except perhaps for the zoo now, some of them will grow into adulthood without knowing what an elephant looks like. They just see them in pictures and maybe in movies. Yes. But thank God that we have some zoos that are doing that. And of course, we need some safe haven for our plants.
Okay.
I met a friend the other day. He's creating something down somewhere in Ovia, very close to the Ovia River. He's creating a safe haven for our plants, exotic plants that we have forgotten, that will be useful to us for health purposes. Yes, he's doing that. He's taking his time, but I'm sure in the next 5 years, these things will grow. We'll begin to do things. Thank God we have this television station now.
Yes.
We're going to visit them one of these days and see what that gentleman is doing.
All right. Well, I wouldn't want to use the word village. I don't come from a village. I come from a country home.
Well, village or no village, there are villages. Yeah, there are villages, but the villages too must be part of the process.
Okay.
Of developing our environment.
Yes.
Our environment, I've said it for the 10th time, it must be protected for the survival of the human person. Okay? And not just that, government must step up action against these oil companies who do gas flaring.
Yes,
if you go to some parts, I said it the other day, some in the Delta area, there is perpetual light, 24 hours, which is against nature, because you have time for day and you have time for night. In the night time, they are flaring gas. Everywhere is bright. People don't sleep. They have sight problems, notably glaucoma. All right? So, and it's an abuse against the environment, serious abuse. Government should look into that. Government should also look into pouring effluents into water bodies. These people are also guilty. The effluents from oil production, that's why you have oil spills all over the place. And if you have an oil spill here, for instance, because the water body is in a state of flux, it carries these things along. And as it's carrying it along, it destroys aquatic life, particularly fish. That's why in some areas in Delta, the fish you get from there is like they're like fingerlings, even though they are mature enough, because they don't grow well because of the oil. It covers the water bodies, and they can't breathe. They need oxygen to grow. But once you spill oil on the surface, then it kills aquatic life.
Okay.
Yes, very readily.
All right. On a final note, we would agree that for now, the institutions that should be in charge of protecting the environment, we are not seeing positivity from them. Do you think it will take a whole long time before this can be achieved?
We have, I don't know if it still exists. We used to have FEPA in those days, Federal Environmental Protection Agency. FEPA. I'm sure it has gone into oblivion. But we need to revive such institutions. It's an institution, by the way, because Western countries have them. Yes. Particularly those in Europe. They have them, and they don't toy with them. We need to have, if it's gone haywire, we need to bring it back. Federal Environmental Protection Agency. They will control the people who flare gas. Gas flaring is part of the environment. They will control the people who pour effluents into water bodies. They will control the way we wrongfully dispose waste. Yes. They will do all of that. It's a huge responsibility, but we are just paying lip service. And the environment can carry on without us. But we cannot live without the environment. That's the irony. For ages to come, yes, if you remove all human beings from the planet Earth, the environment will remain. The environment will still remain. The rocks will remain. Okay? The streams will remain. But if you remove, let the environment go, man cannot survive. How does it survive without oxygen?
Exactly.
No, it cannot.
And so it's in our best interest to protect the environment.
Of course, to protect the environment. Because it's all we have. As I said earlier, if we don't protect the environment, then we have no reason to forbear, which is a fact.
Thank you so much, sir. It's always a pleasure, like I would always say, having Dr. Gariba discuss on such issues. Well, on this note, I want to also thank you for watching. Please remember to tell your friends and family about Providence Television International. And for those of you who do not still know how to get to Providence Television, there is a mistake that some individuals have complained about. Please, it is not just Providence Television. It is Providence Television International. Without the international, you'll be getting a different station altogether. So please note that on YouTube and then subscribe so that anytime we have a program, you don't need to bother yourself about searching if we have one. No, it just pops up on your YouTube notifier. On this note, I want to say thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day ahead. And sir, you have a parting shot?
Well, as always, we're approaching the end of October. In November, the rains will recede, obviously. They will begin to have a bit of dry weather. We must prepare for it, okay? And I must readily tie it up to what we have just discussed. A lot of our farmers, that's the time they do bush burning.
Bush burning.
Yes, it's not good for motorists because, I mean, smoke sometimes covers the entire road, and then it causes road accidents. And of course, it is natural that in the process of burning this bush, we kill a lot of exotic plants, maybe inadvertently. Inadvertently sometimes, but it is not right. So let the Ministry of Agriculture step up their enlightenment programs for the benefit of each and every one of us. Thank you.
All right, on this note, once again, thanks for watching. Please stay tuned.